We are going to talk about factoring with the GCF again today, and we're going to use our book. But before we open the book, this is a mini lesson that goes along with our book and the curriculum. And if we're looking at example A, it says to find the GCF of x to the 5th power, x to the 8th power, and x to the 6th power. So the GCF of variables that have exponents, we always want to look for the lowest power that is common to all the terms. So if I'm looking at 5, 8, and 6, we want to choose the smallest. And in this case, the smallest would be x to the 5th power. Okay. Example C kind of has a flow chart for you. So if I'm looking at 15t cubed plus 10t squared minus 5t, we want to find the largest number that divides into each term without a remainder. Okay, so we want the biggest number that goes into 15, 10, and 5, or that is the factor of all of those. And since 5 is the smallest number, I always start there and see if it works. And it does work in this case. So 5 works. Then let's look at the variables. Okay, I notice that they all have a t. T cubed, t squared, and t. So we're going to identify the smallest exponent, the lowest power of those variables. Okay, so in this case, our GCF is 5t. So what we need to do is we need to divide each coefficient by 5. Okay, and then remember, we also need to subtract our exponents. So if you're looking here, they give us the final answer right here. Okay, but let's look at the flow chart. This is one of the main reasons why I wanted us to look at this mini lesson. So when we're trying to find the GCF, we are going to pay attention to the coefficients, the numbers in front of the variables. Okay, and we need to pay attention to the constant term, the number by itself. So when we look at all of our numbers, we need to find the greatest common factor of those. Okay, what number is a factor of all of those, or what they're divisible by without a remainder. After we find what that number is, we need to see if each term contains the same variable. And if the answer is no, then we're done. And the GCF is just a number. But if we can answer yes to that question, if they all contain the same variable, then again we need to identify the least power, the smallest or the lowest exponent. Then my GCF would be that number and whatever that exponent is. Okay, whatever that least power is. All right, so go ahead and open your books now to page 386. We are still in lesson 26.1. We're identifying the greatest common factor, and then we're factoring out that GCF. So page 386, we're going to start with try these A. It says find the greatest common factor of the terms. So that's what we're going to do first. Find our GCF. So let's take a look at 36 and 24. And remember, we can use our factor chart for this. The biggest number that goes into 36 and 24. I would start at 24, and if it doesn't work, then go down smaller. And I see that it's 12. They're both divisible by 12. Do they both have a variable? No. So I can't pull out a variable. Okay, so now the next step here, it says then write each polynomial with the GCF factored out. So now we're actually going to pull it out. Remember, we're dividing our numbers. So 36 divided by 12, we get 3. And then don't forget, we need the y there. Minus 24 divided by 12 is 2. Now, if we start with 2 terms, a binomial, then we need 2 terms or a binomial inside our parentheses. Okay? We can always check our work by distributing or multiplying back through. 12 times 3 is 36, and then I need the y there. 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. And I get exactly what we started with, so I know that my answer is correct. And this right here would be my answer. So question B. I want you to actually do B and C, so go ahead and pause the video and try to do both of these on your own. So the GCF here is not 4, so I have to work smaller. It's actually 2. And then they all have x's. 5, 3, 2. The smallest is 2. So now let's actually factor it out or pull it out. So we're going to divide. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Subtract 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Subtract 3 minus 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And if I have x squared and I'm pulling out x squared, those cancel out and it's gone. So I'm left with no x's. So we need to end our parentheses. Question C, the GCF of 15, 10, and 5. That would be 5. Do they all share a variable or a letter? No, they do not all have a t, so I cannot pull out a t, and I need to leave my t's alone exactly where they're at. So let's divide our numbers. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Leave the t squared. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Leave the t. Negative 5 divided by 5 is 1, end your parenthesis. Again, I started with a trinomial, so inside my parentheses, I need a trinomial as well. On the same page, 386, at the bottom, you're going to see the check your understanding box. If you do not have enough room to work, you can write in the My Notes section of your book, or you can use page 387. So question 5 says identify the GCF. You just have to find it. You don't actually have to pull it out. So 21, 14, and 35. The biggest number there is 7. Do they all have the same variable? Yes. So 3, 2, or 1. The smallest would be 1. So 7x is the greatest common factor, and we are done with that. All right. I am going to cross out question 10, so you don't have to do that one. But I would like you to pause the video and do 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11 on your own first. Use your factor chart. You can do it. Looking at 36 and 9. 9's the smallest number, so I'm going to start there. And that happens to be the GCF. They do not have the same variable, so I'm only pulling out a 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. Leave the x. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Question 7. 6, 12, and 18. 6 is the smallest number up there, so that's where I'm going to start. And that happens to be the GCF. They all have x's, so 4, 2, and 1 is the smallest. And then let's do our parentheses. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. Plus 12 divided by 6 is 2. X, 2 minus 1 is just 1. Minus 18 divided by 6 is 3. And then we have x divided by x, right? I have 1x and I'm pulling out the x, so I'm not left with any x's in the last part of that answer. So it's just minus 3 and end your parentheses. Question 8, our numbers are a little bit bigger, but 25 is the smallest number up here. So try to do 125 divided by 25 and do 250 divided by 25 and see if it works. And when we do that, we get whole numbers and not fractions or decimals, so we know that 25 is the GCF. They all have ends, so the smallest is n to the third power. So 125 divided by 25 is 5. And 6 minus 3 is 3. Plus 250 divided by 25 is 10. And 5 minus 3 is 2. Plus, and then look, this last term matches our entire GCF. 25n cubed divided by 25n cubed is 1. We need 1 here as our placeholder because we started with 3 terms. We have to have 3 terms inside our parentheses. Question 9. 3, 9, and 6. So 3 is the GCF, and they all share 1x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. X, 3 minus 1 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 2 minus 1x is just 1x. Plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then I have x divided by x, and those cancel each other out. So I'm left with no x's. So just a plus 2 and end your parenthesis. All right, question 11. I have a 4, 12, 8, and 4. So 4 is the greatest common factor there. And then do they all have x's? Yes, so 2, 1, 2, 1. So just 1x. Do they all have y's? Yes, 2, 2, 1, 1. So 1. Start my parenthesis. 4 divided by 4 is 1. X, 2 minus 1 is just 1. Y, 2 minus 1 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Then I have an x here, but I'm taking out the x, so it's gone. Y, 2 minus 1 is 1. Minus 8 divided by 4 is 2. X, 2 minus 1 is just 1. I have 1y, but I'm taking away 1y, so it's gone. Minus, and then this matches my entire GCF. So 4xy divided by 4xy is 1. Remember, we have to have 1 there as our placeholder. I have 4 terms in my problem, so I need 4 terms inside my parentheses.